Hey, DeRacers. So we're back again for another community profile. And today we're really excited because in the first community profiles we did, it was really highlighting OGs from the absolute furthest back you can go. So people that were here when the first mints, the very first races, and they were experienced with all the bad blockchain issues with Polygon, the extra everythings. But now, happy to bring forward a secondary wave of somebody that I would consider an OG. This person is active on teams. They're continuously showing up in every single event. They're extremely present on Discord as a whole, helping people. They're staying very positive. They're staying pushing. They're helping people out. And this person is very good at the game. And if you haven't figured it out by now, this person that we're going to be bringing in is Rob. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Rob to the show.
Hello.
Hey, man. Well, thanks for joining us today. This has been really something that we've been looking forward to talking to you for a long time. This is the first time we've ever got a chance to sit face to face.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do so.
Right on.
So I think one of the things that interested me when I first got to know you and saw you playing the game and being active and being involved is we actually had a lot of side chats about how to study our horses, right? Like what it was you were very interested in getting involved in breeding horses and things like that in the DeRace platform. Admittedly, I spent almost no time getting to know you personally. And I think that's one of the things that I'd like to be able to do today is get a feel for, what your history is, what brought you into crypto in general, into Web3 gaming. Give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, so I've always been a gamer since, I was a little kid, always loved it. Real money, also, I always been attracted to I played poker for a while. I, liked to bet on horses and stuff like this. And I've always, kind of been thinking why they cannot make games and money together, it will be more real if you would do so. So one day I was just Googling and I found a Formula One racing game in the blockchain that I get into. And from there, I just got sucked into the space. I read about everything. I tried to find new games. I was in, I found out about DeRace. I was in the pre-sale of their token through Gator.io. I tried to get the horses in the first sale, but I could not. So then I just was thinking, shit, I was kind of frustrated, because the horses were sold out within seconds, or, I couldn't even, get one. And straight after it was on OpenSea for 20 times the price that they bought it for. And, that kind of frustrated me. So I just left it be for a while, and then the prices for the horses went down, and then I
So if I'm hearing you right, you were involved in some of the pre-sale, pre-mint, attempting to get involved in the token itself, but then when the horses came out, you were like, this isn't for me right now. What time or when did you decide to dive back in?
Well, I spent a lot of time in this other game, and they lost their license for Formula One. And then I figured out, okay, I need to find time for another one. And then, of course, DeRace popped up. I had two horses. I was not familiar, with the Dark Army server. I just had the DeRace server on Discord I was in. And, I didn't know too much about the game and what the community did back then. I just went into the race, website, made a few races, came back a few days later, did the same, But then when I discovered the Dark Army server and, the competitions, your analytics sheets, everything opened up and got much more interesting. So from there on, then it sucked my time.
So when you bring up this previous game that was the Formula One that lost the licensing, was that also like a racing game? Are you drawn into the racing style of elements of games?
Yeah, but I'm not good at actually driving the cars. Like I'm more managing,
Okay.
like the DeRace, and they had this in the Formula One game as well. They had a simple driving mechanics mechanism, but that was very simple. And I spent also there, several hours per day, sometimes up to 10, 12, 14 hours per day to just practice.
Mm.
Jeez.
Yeah, but this is if you want to be good in something, you have to
Mhm.
work harder than everyone else. You
Yep.
know, you cannot be the best runner in the world if you're lying on the couch. You know, so
Yeah, no, that's something I want to just give you some props on with this one because Mystery and I we talk to just almost every single player. Anybody that wants to talk to us, we talk to them. So we've helped people, we've analyzed horses for them, we've created tools, obviously. But like as we bring on new players, a lot of new players run into just so many questions and they struggle to learn how to play the game. Where when you entered this space, you were one of the very few players out there that Mystery was pinging me on the side, going like, "Keep an eye on this guy, Rob. He's figuring things out quickly." And sure enough, you were winning competitions. In this last one, we had a lot of fun because we were watching you very closely. We were the points leader in the Diamond League, then you passed us, and just we were testing out different strategies, and nobody was picking up what we were doing. But within, I think, 36 hours, you discovered our strategy and you were starting to figure out ways of trying to pick us apart. And it was just really impressive. So, what is your background in that? Are you a stats guy or did you play other games? Like, how did you learn how to accelerate so quick? Were you just lucky and naturally gifted into this kind of game?
no, I think I know from my past that hard work and to dive into things are you know is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You really have you need to like what you're doing, and you need to put in the hard work. And often when I'm a very competitive person, so in competitions, my brain, if I'm not with computer or with computer, I'm just thinking about what I can do. But you know I'm kind of not normal person like this, I think. And and if you think about some stuff long enough, you can come up with ideas. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
something that I found really interesting is like I mentioned previously, getting to chat with you early on. Some of your early ideas about pairing different horses up for breeding was really intriguing because it was all things that Vamp and I have talked about. It's all very familiar to us, but you were presenting it in a way that allowed us to say, well, let's see what happens when he does that. And it was actually interesting to see what the result was because you were coming in and breeding like crazy. I forget how many horses you had in the last wave of them, but you were someone who was actually then taking them and analyzing how well they were doing, and you kind of had expectations for how good they could be, which allowed you to pick really good ones for some of the other competitions that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we ask, like, what is it that kind of let you zero in on that so quickly?
I don't know. One plus one is two, and stuff like this. I don't know, but I have been looking on your sheets for many hours, and many of my questions for you was kind of things that you guys have been testing, and you kind of proved or said to me that it's not quite like what I'm thinking as well. So but you have to think about a lot of different things, and of course I have been asking you many questions which you have helped me with answering, which makes things more logical for me as well. So and then it's to try and maybe this, maybe that, and it's yeah.
So
I don't think there is anything special that makes me
Okay.
into.
So if that's the case, then so like if I was a new player, so based off of what you've learned, I've said from the beginning, I've always seen this game as being a breeding game. Now I think that even more. I think that the whole entire path of success is to breed and to test efficiently. And so what I like to do is I breed regularly, and then I do very specific testing to either dump a horse early or to recognize that I've discovered a champion. I move on from that way. That's been my most successful path. And so the strategy that I'd employ is exactly that. If you were to tell somebody new how that wants to replicate you, what would you suggest someone do? Is it about massive breeding? Is it probability? Do you just what would you say? How would you help somebody out, and what strategy and what direction would you recommend?
Now, if you think about breeding strategy, or
anything as a whole, what where you have found your success in this game, if someone was looking at you and wanted to replicate your path, what should they be doing?
Well, first you have to learn the game and learn the analytics, and how things are working, and when I look on a horse in the analytics, I kind of try to find what is this horse missing. Some horses have high reaction, low reaction, and if you breed them, it's random, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look on, for example, one horse that has D's or C's, and it have high reaction like 475, maybe he would have B's if reaction were much lower, right?
Okay. So do you tend to you want to breed the widest range, or do you like to pair them up with similar attributes?
Wider range.
Okay.
I know, for example, that I'm trying to find two horses with the same surface preference. I can say, both of them are good on turf, or both of them are good on synth and stuff like this. And then I'm looking to, I'm trying to find speedy horses. Reaction is random for the foal, as I understand, so that doesn't matter. But I'm thinking, for example, if I breed one with high reaction that still shows good results in win percent, or something like this, I'm thinking that with lower reaction it would even be better than it shows, and then try to pair it with someone that maybe have a little bit different track distance, maybe.
One of the things that I love, and this is getting back to what some of our early conversations were, is you make me think about things just a little bit differently, and that's fantastic, because when I analyze horses, a lot of times I'm looking for patterns, right? Things that match, things that are more consistent. And you're literally saying, oh, I'd love to actually have them be sure, the surface is the same, but wildly different, and so that you can grab an attribute from over here and put it into the full.
And you have to be a little bit lucky when they get matched together.
Yeah, I like it.
What I'm trying to do now. I've ridden a lot of horses, but actually I didn't race so many of them because I'm waiting for the right moment. Like I mentioned to Vampire other day, like this tournament that are going on now, I did not put my best horses into this tournament, because the best you want to use in the best tournaments, right? And but you kind of have to play your stable. I have a stable with those horses, and this is what I put into this competition. Now that was okay. If I will use these horses in any competition, this should be the competition they will try out. But I didn't believe that they would be any champion horses. It's more like they were testing horses, kind of, that so but anyway, it's like you have to play your stable. You have to be patient to use them at the right moments, because in the future I believe there will be many more different competition. You can just imagine, probably next time will be synthetic. For DeRace. So now, for people that are watching, stop breeding some synthetic horses. ready. So
that's exactly right. Like you're talking about preparation, and I think that's so big. If I'm gonna answer the question you asked Vamp a little bit ago about what you would tell someone who's needing to replicate it, it's about preparation, and whether that's putting in the hours or just putting in the excitement, right? Like being involved with either a team or club or even in just the discords, asking the right questions, getting to know what it takes to be prepared for the next event. We don't always know when a new event's about to pop up, but like you said, most likely synthetic is going to be next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether they do it exactly the same or not, we don't know, but you can prep by going, hey, it's probably not going to be a turf event. We also know that Dirk Army is probably going to do another unraced Gen 1 tourney coming up. So like knowing that these things are on the horizon is something that a new player should be prepping for. And that's really hard to do when you're getting started because you have like, one horse and you don't know anything about it. But it does take that time getting to know who's out there, who you can partner up with, who you can, breed their horse with your horse and start growing your stable.
Yeah.
So then I would like to flip this now to the holistic view of DeRace and kind of into two different parts because I'm assuming DeRace is going to be watching this. So I always like having the opportunity for the players of this game to be able to get the message to them directly. So let's do it in a positive and then the constructive criticism, if you will. So on the positive side, there's multiple different horse games out there. There's multiple different racing games out there, but why are you in DeRace? What was it about this game, this community, whatever you would like to say draws you into it? What brought you in and what's keeping you here? And that's going to be my first question. Go.
DeRace was the first game, horse racing game that I found, and I kind of get involved with in their token sale. But also, I like DeRace. They're much better than their competitors. Still there is, bad things and not everything is that great. But in total, I feel that DeRace have the biggest potential. I like the way the horses are looking, kind of, I like this. And I feel that there is very, very high potential.
Okay.
And of course, the community is great, as long as I came into the Dark Army group, a different world open with very nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very important. And without a great community, no game will survive at this stage of Web3 development.
Yep.
So I would just say that the community is now running kind of DeRace because they have a lot to improve.
Yeah.
But I believe they can.
Yeah, and like I've said this in the past in other conversations where the DeRace itself, I don't expect DeRace to be in charge of teams and commission events and all these other things. The community that plays the game actively, we're the ones that realize this is a way we can create more exciting events, team sports like we do in Tug of War, Dirk Army doing all the unraced. Like there's so much to it that DeRace, they are great at building the program, keep building the program in which the community can then grab those keys and turn it into just an incredibly awesome game. Now, on the flip side of that, so there's a long roadmap still in front of us. Of that roadmap, what's on it, what's not on it. If you were able to provide criticism in a way to help make DeRace as a project improve, are there things that you would like to be able to voice?
Well, if there is something that I wish was there when I wake up tomorrow morning, was a leaderboard,
Okay.
inside the web page with all kind of filters, daily, weekly, monthly leaderboard. You can even filter by appearance of the horse, maybe. Because this makes a lot of opportunity for everyone to, for example, just, okay, today I will make for my Twitter followers. I make a 30 dark competition for this week,
Okay.
and everything is on the web page, you know. And I think when people come in and see DeRace on their homepage, it's not so much there, you know. It's a racing game, I would say, and in any racing, you need a leaderboard, you know. And this is something that have not been talked or discussed much about as long, you know, as I can remember in any Discord chats or anything. But I think a leaderboard, very well done leaderboard with tournaments coming.
Okay.
And basically, you know, like what you guys, Brad and OXG, you have spent a lot of hours developing, you know, your own stuff, and it's kind of, you know, but all this should be into the website. You know, that's, you know, this is because this is what makes the game at the moment.
Yeah, no, I could agree with that one. So specifically with the leaderboard, so what would it? I'm putting you on the spot here because obviously there could be a lot of different things. I mean, like the fastest horse or fastest track times is obviously an easy leaderboard. What other things would you want to see, or do you have any ideas that if they're listening to this one, they could pull from for inspiration?
Like on the leaderboard, I mean, or yeah, you know, like Brad's leaderboard, like I used last time, this championship, not the quick leaderboard what he used, but this other one was pretty good with fastest and average times, you know, and you know, this is mostly what I'm interested in is the average and the fastest time, especially fastest time.
Okay. Is this for track settings, or was this something that you would like to see for specific events? So is this leaderboard in your vision? Is this tracking individual events regularly, or is this just since the dawn of the game, this is the best and the fastest, etc.?
No. Like, you know, I would like to have a daily, a weekly, and a monthly leaderboard.
Okay.
You know, because for example, you know, as expat could just say, okay, we have, you know, like $50 bet on our page if you win this month. And it's easy for them to set up because they have the leaderboard in the web page. So, you know, they can just filter and they see, for example, they can just make, for example, for all.
That's interesting.
I like where this is going.
I do too. This reminds me of like
our wheelhouse. I mean, exactly. A lot of games have this where you can just kind of, whether you're playing heavily that week or not playing, you still kind of stay connected to what's happening in the game because you see who is doing well, right?
Yeah. Or if there was seasons, if it was every 3 months, it resets. So you know that season, the leaderboard ranking, and if there was prizes or whatever for accomplishing certain things. And then, if you're 4th, 5th on that thing, you're going to be hitting the tracks hard, trying to see if you could steal that top spot. That does definitely make sense and would add an element to the game.
And it would be easy for me, for example, to just, you know, for my followers on Twitter, I can just say, okay, I'll give a 30 dark, reward for the winner of this week or this day. You know, it could make a lot more action for a lot of different things. It would be easier for sponsors to get in to just make a competition, you know. And this is something that I think. I don't know how much work that would do to make this, but for me, it sounds easy to make.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to give DeRace a bunch of feedback that makes them work harder. But no, in all honesty, a lot of what has been missing that would allow for the creation of these leaderboard type things is the identification of a rating system that was universal, right? And so Brad has one that he created. You alluded to his CRS score. We've done stuff with classifications and trying to get those to work together. We know that there's interest from DeRace to have something where every horse can be rated or ranked in something like that. But the stuff you're talking about could happen even before that. You know, talking about the number of races you've done, the fastest races, your average pace, things like that can all be done without needing any sort of rating system. So yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah. Then this is something that I would like, overnight, but there
Sure.
is still plenty plenty of other stuff that you would like to have, like your analytics sheets or something similar to for people to look on other horses very easily on the web page, especially if they will have betting. People should be able to just click on the horses for the race, and they get some kind of analytics. And yeah.
So how about this one? One final question for you on this one then is sticking to the holistic DeRace ecosystem, knowing the upcoming features that are going to be available to us as players. Are there any features that have been talked about that you are the most excited about?
Yeah, tournaments, of course, but they haven't been talked too much about it, and I don't know if they have started any serious development with the tournaments. But I'm excited about the most things that they are speaking about. Only what I kind of don't understand or don't care too much about is this new environment for hippodromes. I don't know, like this graphical design, and I am more thinking about more content, on their web page that I'm very excited. Jockeys, I look forward to. I would also like, that they will kind of make it so people can be only jockey, that they don't need to have a horse, but they can play the game jockey.
That'd be an interesting one. So your game element of this would be is renting your jockeys to players or something of that nature.
Yeah, and you can add on to this, like making a leaderboard for jockeys only, and stuff like this. I don't know what they have in mind. I have not been talking with the DeRace team or anything like this, but this is things that I think would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know too much. The only things that we know is that they're trying to bundle some things up, and they're looking for the right timing to release everything together. It seems so similar to when the main wave of last year, where they changed the structure of the site. They brought people in for testnet. I'm hoping something similar is going to happen, so we could get a chance to leak some of this stuff out, so we get all prepared for what's about to happen. But it sounds like we're months away, I think, but I'm not sure about the specifics.
So let me ask this: you mentioned previously that you like let's call it the managerial side of having a stable, or in other games being able to manage a team or manage a crew for something, right? Like, do you have interest in the little that you do know about hippodromes that are coming in the future, ownership on that side? Was there anything about DeRace that really drew you in on that side, the ownership of a hippodrome and managing that?
Yeah, it was, but it's kind of, I don't know how it will be for me to manage a hippodrome, because you needed 50% of this hippodrome, right? So kind of will be expensive, and but yeah, of course, when I first heard about it, to own your own hippodrome, and the things you could do with owning one, especially to put up tournaments and making, a lot of fun with it. It was, of course, this was, but yeah, I when I heard about it first time, I would be expecting that it was already ready by now. But
yeah.
Things takes time, and not only in DeRace, unfortunately, but the whole space. It takes time.
Are you at all interested in the future that involves the betting side of things, or do you stay away from that sort of thing?
I will probably stay away because this is a game. It's not the real life horse racing where you can trust, I can say, the statistics more. And like in DeRace, anyone can win as long as you get into any final in any competition. It's just about having the day, I can say.
Well, you've definitely proven that in some of the recent tournaments that we've been involved in. I swear you win every time we get into finals. So for that, I give you credit.
But the work is to get into the finals. After
That's true.
the finals, anything can happen.
That's right. That's right.
And I was, Brad had this. If you win all three, if you win the DAPS play, the juvenile, and the Breeders' Cup, you win a Gen 1 Olympian. And I won 2 out of 2. I didn't have the possibility.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. I think one of the things that's going to be really exciting for me anyway, as DeRace grows and as more people get involved, is to see the number of teams grow, the number of people involved in the separate tournaments and the different competitions grow. I mean, it's great seeing 60, 70, 80 plus horses involved in a tournament, but imagine having 200 plus, 300 plus, all going into one event. It's going to take so much more analysis and luck to really play well. And I think, you're one of those players that we're looking forward to seeing continue in the space and to help bring along the next wave of people. So we really do appreciate you, Rob. And honestly, it's been good to get to know you and hear a little bit more about what brought you into the space. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And it is you guys that keep me here. So
we appreciate that,
Rob. Well, good luck in the Summer Mile event, and it looks like you guys are going to be competing against Plexidar in another tug of war event coming up very soon. So good luck to you on that one, man. And
be left there,
yeah. And we'll see you around, Rob. But thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.